Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy, Internet, Radio. Thanking everybody for rocking with us tonight as we progress throughout the show. Thank you to those folks that are checking us out on Facebook Live. Just turned it on. Thank you to the folks that were checking us out on TuneIn as well as on Streamer, listening to the replays on iTunes as well as YouTube. Y'all rock with us. We roll with y'all. Phone lines are now open. They weren't open before in the last segment, the earlier segment, but they are open now. And so if you hear something that you want to get in on, feel free to check us out. 804-402-2893. We got a lot to get to. And before we do that, I'm going to introduce the usual suspects. Of course, you hear our brother join us on the show when we have an opportunity to have him. Normally, we usually have him when we have our light workers segment with our sister Shayna Latia, who's not in the building tonight. But you heard this brother with us last week, and you'll hear him again. He's our family. He's our brother Lucia. What's up, man?
What's good, Marcus, man? I appreciate you having me on the show again tonight and being here with all of these wonderful, wonderful brothers. And, yeah, respect.
We appreciate you being here, man. Thank you every time you here. It's a good day. It's a good day for Marcus J. So it's good to see you across the table, brother. Of course, you hear this brother. He typically joins us on the third Monday of the month. But he's got an open invitation, and one day I might as well just give him a key because he come when he feel like it. But he's my big brother and yours. Big bro Joe is up in this joint. What's up, man?
Yo, hey, what's going on, Marcus J?
Chilling, brother. What's going on, man?
I might have to, invitation. Really? That's how we gonna do it today?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah,
grammatically speaking, if
if
nobody else is going to call you out.
I be butchering this stuff sometimes, man.
Yeah, your diction and ebonic language is a little.
Man, I'm from Jersey, yo. Shall we talk up there? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, son?
You mean, son?
Shall we talk up there, son?
Shorty?
No, shawty. It's not shorty. It's shawty.
Shawty. I can't even fix my lips to say that. My mother would smack me in the back of my head.
That's how, what's the word in Baltimore? Chew. What's the word in Baltimore? Choose. Like the U sounds weird in Baltimore. Like there's certain words that have a different weird kind of dialect.
I don't know, but I know that. You mean gump?
Well, yeah, that's a very indigenous word to that area as well. Like every region has certain words that they really jack up, and other folks from other areas be looking at them like, really? That's
like
shouty. Yeah, shouty. Yeah. What's up? Anyway, ain't no half step with Marcus J is happy to rejoin the show. We haven't had him kind of prominently featured on the show in quite a while. Former co-host of the show. Y'all know him as Big Rube.
Yeah.
I said y'all know him as Big Rube.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Just chilling.
It's good to see you, brother.
I mean, it's good to be back in the den. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. It's your home.
I mean, yeah, away from home.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you over there, doing what you do and chilling like you chill, and you ready to rock and have a dope ass show. You gonna do something for us later on? What you doing later on?
I mean, when I'm back, there's a round table that comes with me.
That's what I'm talking about. I always love the round table because we wild out, man. We, you bring some weird stuff and some good stuff, and we always have some good dialogue. So I look forward to it, brother.
And today might be the dopest, weirdest round table I've ever had.
For real?
Real dope, real weird, and it's really gonna make you think about some things.
Well, I look forward to it, man. We're gonna do that in the very next segment, and so we got a couple of quick hits that we're gonna get to here in the first segment. In this segment, we ask the question, Lucia, what the hell? That's a staple of Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. We ask that question every single show, or we had been asking it every single show. We've been having a lot of guests and stuff. And so we've been preempting the signature segment on the flagship show. But we're going to ask the question, what the hell? And we're going to lead off with the Republican nominee for president of the United States, Donald Trump. The reason why we're going to run with him, we're going to start with him, is I've made no mistake of my lack of support for him. I've got my reasons. One of the reasons that I have decided that I cannot support him is that he has made a big deal about the fact that he does not want to let the world know about his taxes. And I've wondered about that because every single presidential nominee on either side of the aisle has made their tax returns part of the vetting process. You know what you're dealing with. You know how much money there is out there. We know what kind of business practices you have. And you have a 70-year-old man who is known to be a businessman, billionaire, who has made a point of avoiding the tax discussion and has been quite defiant in his refusal to release them, going so far as to say that he's being audited and he's not going to release them because of the audit. Now, I've cried foul on that. A lot of people who are far more knowledgeable about the subject have cried foul on that. A lot of the Donald Trump supporters have decided they don't care about that. And that's fine. I got a problem with it. And I would guess that the folks who would tend to listen to this show would have a problem with it. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. Well, this weekend, I guess this is the October surprise, because every year there's a October surprise where something comes up to kind of attempt to derail one of the candidates. And that thing that has come up has been that Donald Trump's tax return from 1995 was emailed to a reporter. The reporter analyzed it over the last couple of days, and the findings were released. One of the things that came out was 1995, Donald Trump reported losses of over $900 million. $900 million. Because of that large of a loss, apparently there's tax codes that allow you to avoid paying taxes for up to 18 years. So basically what that means is because he lost so much money, he got a waiver legally, because no one's saying that he's not doing this legal. No one's saying that he's tax evading or anything like that. But the point is he didn't pay taxes or may not have paid taxes. No one has said whether he has or he hasn't. It's been alluded that he has not. And so when the debate happened last week, and we were in this room and a lot of us didn't get to see it unless we went home and we watched it later on. But he talked about prior to this declaration of his taxes that he was smart for paying as little tax as possible. So I want to lay this on the table. I want to go around the room and I want to talk to you guys about what you think about the potential president of the United States deeming himself and having surrogates like the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, and the former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, co-signing his genius for not paying taxes. Lucia, I want you up first. Set it up. What do you think, brother?
Well, I think the whole thing is obviously ridiculous. I mean, so ridiculous, and I am not a tax expert. In fact, I still get help with my taxes every year. And so I can only answer through my opinion and my view. That's
all I'm looking for, brother.
But there are so many loopholes around paying taxes, especially for the extremely wealthy. And it seems like he may have found himself in that situation, just by what you shared, the whole 18-year legal tax evasion is what I'll call it. So that is just ridiculous. And, if you don't have anything to hide, why are you still, holding it back? I mean, I can understand if there was like a legitimate reason, to do something, but what would that be? And if somebody could identify that, then, maybe I could evaluate that. But I don't know what the legitimate reason to avoid something like that when all of the other candidates, have released that and post and present, why. I just don't understand why that would be the case, I'm
going to disagree with you, right, Lucian?
Okay, go ahead.
It's Joe, Big Bro Joe. I have. Do I like Trump? No. Do I agree with his policies? No. Do I think he's a jackass? Yes. But the one thing we can't do is circumvent the prowess of how he did his business as far as the taxes were concerned. Yes, do we feel it was wrong for him to do it? Okay, I agree with you on that. But legally, what did he do wrong? And it's hurting my heart to sit here and say this, but that was kind of savvy on his part. Not saying that it did us any good, but he didn't do anything wrong. He found a loophole that if we could exploit that loophole, a lot of us would. So, I mean, I see both sides of the story. I do. We have our pros, I have our cons. I just can't be totally disagreeable with finding a loophole and exploiting it.
But that's not the situation. I think the situation is, how can you sit here and say you understand where your constituents are coming from when you don't pay taxes? I mean, that's just real. I mean, it's not even about whether you release them or not. The problem is, when you release him, it will probably show that he has not paid taxes.
Well, who are we considering his constituents? We're not considering us as his constituents, are we?
Well, no, but there are people who are going to vote for him.
But why wouldn't we though? Because ultimately,
Well, he wants our vote.
He wants our vote.
Yeah.
Right, but listen, but okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate on that, because we're going to juggle with the wording that we use. His constituents are not us. His constituents, technically, I mean, we can always go back to a jury of your peers. Technically, if Donald Trump wants to get judged by a jury of his peers, it would be some other rich folk making the same type of money that Donald Trump is making. So I understand where we're going, but let's be clear. It doesn't fall in the same realm as what we as middle-class Americans would believe as being his constituents.
But what he wants to do is to make us believe that he is like us.
No, that we stupid, because we already know.
Well,
we got four smart, intelligent black men sitting in this room, and we all know. Am I lying?
And I'm not saying us. I'm using us as a pronoun for the people who are voting. Because when it's all said and done, he wants as many votes as he can get. And
so does Hillary.
Well, exactly. But however, at least regardless of how cryptic or how much you think, or how much we know how shady the Clintons are, she has proven that at the very least, the one thing she has done is pay some taxes. And I think that's the issue with Trump, because he was very happy to be like, well, I don't pay taxes.
I watched the debate.
I'm smart.
Yeah, I'm smart.
He said I watched the debate. He was smug.
Here's my deal with that, though, right?
True.
I would guess that everybody who is extremely wealthy, and I'll just use a phrase like that, extremely wealthy, has figured out some kind of way to avoid paying as much tax as possible. It's human nature, because those of us who are in this room, and I don't know you guys' financial situations, but I would guess that we are all middle class brothers in this room. I think that that's a fair assumption. And if there was a way that we could avoid paying taxes, then we absolutely was. I think that's the point that Big Bro Joe was trying to make. But where I get frustrated, and it's just me, Marcus J., every single day I go to work, every single 2 weeks when I look at my paycheck and I see FICA in them be coming after me, and they take my money, and I look at it, and it's like, I know when I live in this country I got to pay taxes. It's just kind of like what you realize it. You know that you're not getting all you're supposed to get. You're not getting it. But then when you go through that all year long, file your paperwork, send it in, and then a few months later, they send you a note, say, yeah, you ain't pay enough. You got to pay me some more. You got to pay me some more. You know what I mean? And you got to write another check for whatever it is. If it's $10 or $10,000, whatever it is, you get pissed. You get real pissed, because you like, yo, it was already a financial burden for me to take this little bit out as you went. So you couple that with the apathy that many of us have for those folks who are uber rich, who flaunt their money in our faces, who pat us on the head when they see us. We call them Mr. instead of by their first name because they're rich. I mean, that's bullshit. Like, really, that's bullshit. I don't care that you got $1 billion. Your nose will bleed if I punch you in it, just like a broke dude. Like, real talk. And so, like, I don't care about that. And you have this dude that will go on a debate and tell the American people who just have the same situation that I just laid out, who every single week they look at their paycheck and there's money missing because FICA and them came for them. And in May, June, or whenever that tax bill come, they got to pay some more. And this dude gonna go on TV and tell you that he's smart because he figured out how to not pay when that paycheck came out? Man, if that's not the most offensive thing I think he's ever said, more offensive than build a wall, more offensive than taking a full page ad to say that we want to execute the Central Park Five who were already found to be innocent, more offensive than putting C's on the applications of people who wanted to work for him, the C's meaning colored, so that the people who were hiring them knew that he wasn't trying to hire them colored folk. More offensive than him being sued for the fair renting practices in the 70s and the early 80s. It's more offensive than that. You know why? Because everything that I just laid out only offended black people and in Mexicans because of the wall. But this tax thing, this offends everybody. Everybody. And for those folks who want to come at me and say, Marcus J., you only have issue when it's a black issue, I call foul on you because I specifically, last Tuesday, after I had a chance to analyze this debate, I came right out immediately and told you, this should offend you. And they said, nah, man, because he's smart. Why? He's smart because you reading and you already part of his thing. Like you drinking the Donald Trump Kool-Aid. So whatever he says is okay with you. It's okay that a billionaire has just told you that he's going to do the best he can to not pay taxes while you lose your house or you lose your car or you lose your business or you lose your college tuition for your children because you can't pay a tax bill. Not that you won't, but because you can't.
Well, you know, and with that too, the only thing that I could really say to somebody's perspective that would still be, you know, in his camp per se, after you stated that, even if you did state that, because I'm sure you have plenty of times, and people still have the opinion that they have, is, and I, for whatever reason, it's just rolling through my mind. I can kind of see how somebody would be like, well, that's the ideal though. I might not be in the same situation as him, but he's living the ideal. He is able to meet that loophole. He is able to do that because he's earning enough. And so I think that oftentimes, and I don't justify this in any way, shape, or form, but I think that oftentimes people look at that, and I wouldn't always say people of color, but people look at that and say, well, you know what, that's the ideal. That's, you know, that's my God figure in a sense, because like I'd aspire to be like that. I can't relate to him, but I can relate to him based on the premise that he is, you know, I mean, you know what he is.
But okay, I'm sorry.
But the problem is, the only people who can remotely relate to them are in the vast minority. The vast minority. The problem is, you have people like in Kentucky who are not even middle class, and they're going to vote for him because, yeah, he's smart. He learned how to not pay taxes. Wait a minute. Oh, you learn how not to have a job, but he learned how to not pay taxes because the only reason you don't pay taxes is you don't have a job. So, I mean, I could be like that. And that's what they see, and that's why they're like, we're going to vote for him. Dumbest thing ever.
I agree with you on that. I really do. I agree with what Marcus J said. What I'm saying is, folks, he put it out to us in black and white. There were no gray areas on what Trump is thinking. There were no gray areas on that. We know that he is abundantly rich in the minority, the 1%. So we know what he's going to take care of, who he's going to take care of. But what really irritates me to the point of being ticked off is, we heard what he said, and if you assume that you fit that category, that you were going to be able to get away with not paying your taxes, how stupid are we looking then?
Yeah.
That's the point. I mean, I think we're all saying the same thing in a nutshell, but I want people to open your eyes and use your ears. What's the saying? Believe none of what you see,
but everything you hear.
Yeah, no, I can dig it. And I think the piece that we haven't introduced to the discussion, and Joe, you were going there. The piece that we haven't introduced to the discussion is you have essentially, let me back up. Essentially, the Republican Party is made up of two different demographics in my analysis. You've got, and there's history here. You've got the uber rich guy, and we can go back to the origins of the Republican Party to set this out. You got the uber rich guy. The uber rich guy has convinced the middle rich guy, and we talking about white folk now. We talking about white folk. The uber rich white person who has convinced the middle rich white person, the middle white person, that everybody else is going to steal your stuff and take your jobs, and affirmative action is wrong, and all of those things, right? And they automatically don't care for you. So when you look at the Republican Party, you got a bunch of really rich people, and then you got a bunch of broke ass rural Southern people. How do you even rationalize that? Like, how does it make sense that they have the same interests? How is it that you live in rural Charles City here in Richmond, or you live in Powhatan here in Richmond, or if you live in Goochland and you got a farm and you can barely make ends meet, but you vote Republican? How much sense does that make? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all when we're talking about way back then. But Trump's going to build a wall, y'all, and he's going to keep all of the people from Mexico out, when the reality is, if you really got a problem with illegal immigration, then you need to be looking at people with expired green cards, because those are the ones really are the masses of people that are illegals. And it's outrageous to me how anybody can think that he's going to be a benefit to you when you look at the other argument, Joe, that they make. He's going to have jobs. He's going to bring jobs. He's going to bring jobs, right?
And he's going to lower taxes.
He's going to bring jobs, he's going to lower taxes, right? He's going to lower taxes, yeah, because he agrees he shouldn't pay any. He's going to bring jobs, right? But remember the 1995 tax thing that we just talked about, right? Why is it that he was able to get a loophole and not pay taxes? Because he lost almost $1 billion. He lost almost $1 billion in his business dealings. Now, the question that I immediately had is, what individual do you know has enough money to lose $1 billion and still be so wealthy that it doesn't matter? That was the first question. And the next question was, whose money was that? Was that Donald Trump's money? Was that Trump organization money? Or was that the bank's money that he borrowed from? So you got to answer those questions. So if it's Trump's money as an individual, okay, I can dig it. But if that's Trump's money as an individual, then why are we talking about his individual tax return? And if it's money that belongs to the bank that he borrowed, then why is he filing on it? There's got to be some illegality going on here. And so, again, this is one of the most outrageously offensive things that I think has come out about this man, simply because he's purporting to be the everyman who at 70 years old has never shown any willingness to do anything for anybody except himself up until this point. But he's going to take care of y'all, Big Rube. He's going to take care of you, man. You're going to be the president for Big Rube.
I ain't going to be the president for me.
He's going to take care of you, Big Rube.
I mean,
he's going to be the president. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We getting a hit from the Facebook Live. Our brother Ahura is checking us out in Maine. What's up, brother? Our brother Lucia is here. Hopefully you guys can say peace to each other.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you big time. Thank you for everything.
Ahura says, I think the reason he has the followers is because he has convinced them that he's going to give them something. The man is a liar, a thief, and a rapist. I'm not, that's not my comment. I can dig it because there's definitely some evidence to suggest that he has not told the truth. There's some evidence to suggest that he is taken from folks that he doesn't deserve to take from. And I would like to know about these rape allegations that the mainstream media has decided that they will not investigate and make us talk about in the mainstream. So, there's something to that. I'm not going to call a man a rapist, but